So I hope you see the first slide here.
We do.
And I'm Eckhart Getty. I normally show up as a second or third person when we start our meetings because we have the luxury of having a great host to organize or start or to be responsible for these meetings. And our host is normally Mike Wozniak, a member from England, who is not available today, and he asked me to step in, which I do with great delight, although I have to apologize that I'm not as funny and maybe as interesting as he is. So I'm stepping in and would like to welcome all of you to this meeting, which I'm sure is going to be outstanding. I don't have to talk about myself, but I do want to introduce Sheeta Hunter, our moderator. And Sheeta has already, she and me and Mike had an interview that you could witness how to really conduct the meetings with regard to questions and answers. Sheeta, is there anything that you want to say at this point in time?
No, I just want to thank everyone for joining in today. And our presenter, Mike Shaw, has really suggested that you ask lots and lots and lots of questions. So if you could please do that for our presenter, he would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I'm going to hand it back to you, Ecker.
Thank you. You see, next week, next Wednesday, we have another very, very interesting presentation. It's our own David Abramowitz who is going to talk about eCam live. And some of our members are even participating in the meeting today are using this technology to enhance presentations. And so I think we all witnessed the evolution of Zoom over the past 4 years, and there are so many new ideas and concepts how to improve a Zoom meeting or any type of virtual meeting. And the eCam is one of those products that was introduced and became very successful. And I think our audience will be very interested to learn more about it. And David will give that presentation next Wednesday. Today, Mike Shaw is with us. And you can read what Mike Wozniak had prepared. We learned to capture stunning landscape in deep sky astrophotography images. And I have just, I really had no clue. I understand what landscape photography is probably all about, but our universe, and I just checked it up with ChatGPT, the dimension that our universe is absolutely unbelievable. It's 13.8 billion light years in diameter. So can you imagine that? I'm sure that Mike is not going to take pictures from the outer parts of the universe, but even if we are taking pictures that are not that far away, even if it's 1,000 light years away, imagine what 1,000 light years really mean, as light moves at the speed of 180,000 miles a second. Absolutely fascinating, and I'm looking forward to our artificial intelligence as they will come up with new algorithms, how to better understand what we see today that is several thousand light years old or even 1,000 years old, what it would look like today in today's reality. In any event, I'm looking forward to Mike's presentation, as all of us are. And I think this is it. I hand it over to Mike. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Eckert. With that, I will go ahead and just dive into the presentation today. Hopefully you can see the screen if I get a thumbs up on that.
Thumbs up.
Okay. All right. So this talk is really for you, to introduce you to nightscapes and deep sky astrophotography for people who have no background in this. And the good place to begin is just considering what happens each night as night falls. It gets dark. You can see some moonlight here. You can see someone fishing with a glow-in-the-dark fishing lure. This is in Minnesota. And then we have this brief window. We can peer into the universe for just a few short hours as our journey through the cosmos continues as earthly astronauts. And then all too quickly, our view is closed off by the oncoming day, and we wait anxiously for the next night to begin. There are a ton of different things to shoot in the night sky, from remote wilderness areas to downtown. This is the state capitol building in Minneapolis, sorry, in St. Paul. Whoa, that Minneapolis people or St. Paul people would get on me for that. This is in St. Paul, Minnesota. This is like almost 4 years ago, exactly, right before the lockdown began to come in. And the moon has a lure for everyone around the world. This is obviously a full moon setting behind the state capitol building. This is a speeded up video taken through a telephoto lens. And here's the crescent moon. Like tonight, if you have clear skies wherever you are, go outside a couple hours after, well, anytime actually before sunset, all the way through the rest of the evening until the moon sets, probably around 11 o'clock or so p.m., wherever you are. And this is a crescent moon. If you look very carefully, you can see obviously the crescent part of the crescent moon, which is the reflected sunlight. But then we also have you can see the outline of the rest of the moon. And this part of the moon is illuminated by what's called earth shine, which is light that's reflected off the earth, sunlight reflected off the earth onto the moon. So it's kind of neat because here you can see this moon. So this part of the moon, not to get too deep in the weeds, we have sunlight that came from the sun, hit the earth, hit the moon, bounced off the moon, came back to earth. And so we have this like, it's been on quite the journey. So the moon's a really popular object to shoot, and as are star trails. These are circular star trails facing north. That's in a northerly direction. And this is also done on a night with a nearly full moon so that you can see all the beautiful colors of the landscape. And this is a very unusual photograph for lots of people just getting into night photography. The star trails is one thing, but what's surprising is how colorful the landscape is. And this is just a wildlife sanctuary in Minnesota, so there's nothing particularly special about it. What is interesting though is how your cameras and iPhones, any sort of a digital sensor, will capture faithfully the natural colors of whatever it's seeing especially under moonlight. And the second thing that's surprising is the blue color to the sky. And our experience as humans with our vision system, we generally see in black and white at night in dark areas. And, when it's a bright city center, we can see obviously the colors. But when in a dark location, our night vision is activated, which is a black and white vision system. So we're not really accustomed to seeing blue skies with a full moon. And so that's kind of an interesting aspect of this. On the contrast, this is a moonless night facing in the opposite direction. So here we are facing north. So the center, you can see where my mouse is pointing, the center of these circles is the north celestial pole. And that's at an angle above the horizon that's equal to your latitude. And when we face south, the south celestial pole is below the horizon at an angle equal to your latitude. So what we're seeing here are the tops. We're only seeing the tops of the circles that we see here. So in other words, our horizon in this image is here in this image. In any event, so these are south-facing star trails, beautiful colors of the stars, moonless night. This is on Lake Superior. Sheeta might be able to get up to a Great Lake and do a similar photograph someday. But this is a dark moonless night, so the foreground now is basically a silhouette. It's unilluminated. Now, this is looking north, this is looking south, and this is looking west, and similarly east. So here we have the stars slanting into the horizon, just like the sun sets. I mean, you're basically facing west, so that everything is rotating in in an angled, it's sort of angling on in. This is with a fairly wide angle lens, so if you look off to either side of the image, you can see the trails start to, they're not straight, they're kind of bending a little bit. So they're only perfectly straight along the celestial equator. So star trails are a great topic to begin with your night photography journeys. And another great opportunity is a meteor shower. So this is a composite image from, I think this was from 2016 now in Yosemite National Park, showing this is the Perseid meteor shower. It happens in August, in the middle part of August. A real popular meteor shower because of the fact that everyone's on vacation, they're out with their families and wherever they are looking at the night sky. And so you probably heard about the Perseids. And this is a composite blend of multiple images stacked together, each with one meteor. And what you can see here is that these images, the meteors all appear to originate from a region of the sky that's called the radiant. And the radiant is so named because the meteors appears to radiate from that location. And the whatever constellation that radiant is in is then the source of the name of the meteor shower. So in this instance, the radiant is in the constellation Perseus, so they're called the Perseids. Now in December, I want to introduce you to another meteor shower called the Geminids, which you might guess correctly that the radiant is in the Gemini constellation. And the Geminid meteor shower is different than the Perseid meteor shower in that they're kind of different types of meteors because they come from an asteroid rather than a comet, which we can talk about. But in any event, the Geminids are striking meteors because they tend to be much longer lasting and a little bit brighter. The problem is they're in December, so everyone's inside snuggling around the fireplace instead of outside roasting hot dogs on the campfire in August. So in any event, meteor showers, there's a bunch of other ones, but those are just another thing to add to your bucket list of your shot list of night photography images. But meteor showers are a lot of fun, especially to do with a group, because when there's sort of a rule of meteor showers that the meteor is going to happen in the area of the sky that your camera is not pointing. And so you can always have a great sort of a community aspect to that. Now, for those of us, especially in the northern tier of the United States, you can see, and elsewhere on the world at high latitudes and similarly in the southern hemisphere, the Aurora Borealis is a relatively frequent visitor. And over the next 2 or 3 years in particular, we're at a maximum of solar activity. So the next couple of years are a particularly good time to go on a Aurora Borealis chasing mission. These are shot, as you can see, in a very dark location. There's no moon. And you can begin to see the importance of understanding the phase and choosing and selecting the phase of the moon to favor your night subject. I mean, the skies are very dark because